Okay, so my name is Alexi. I work at System Seed, and today is my turn to do the talk. So I chose to focus on social media optimization for a better company visibility, and I did a focus on LinkedIn best practices, or at least the basics. So according to the TNS, Transaction Network Services, there is so 65% of the people having a social media account use it to share business information. So that number shows us how much this area needs to be taken into consideration by any organization. As a fully distributed team and mostly creating leads through the internet, I thought it was important for us today to focus on social media and also focus on how each member of staff can participate to the company visibility and create leads by optimizing their social media behavior and profiles. And then I particularly focused on LinkedIn, the professional network. So nowadays there are many social networks, obviously social medias, but the four main social media for companies nowadays are in the right order: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So Facebook, as everyone knows, it's the one that has the biggest number of users. So that means it has the largest target, but in the same time, it's not always the most relevant target, right? The qualification is not the best on Facebook. Regarding Twitter, it's the best one if you want to go viral. So you can, a tweet can go very quickly viral if you use the right hashtags to help get more views and more followers. Regarding LinkedIn, the one I chose for today, it's the best social network when you're working in B2B. LinkedIn works prioritizing relationship building, so it's different from the aforementioned network. So it also means that before trying to sell anything on LinkedIn, people should aim for a good connection and good relationship first. Then make sure that this good connection remember us when a need appears, right? To work with us, collaboration. And then the last one, the very famous photo sharing platform, Instagram, can be useful when a company is, for instance, attending an event or wants to show what they did. You can use an event hashtag or stuff like that. So that's interesting. So to conclude that slide about the four main social media, all these platforms and media can be useful to any business intending to have a better presence online. According to the activity a company has, it can be more relevant to use one on another platform. So some companies focus on Facebook, others focus on LinkedIn. So yeah, it's the choice of the company according to the activity. So it's why I chose to talk to you about LinkedIn a bit later in this talk, because I believe this one is useful for us. All right. So another point is ambassador program. It's a new trend now in company. So on average, if you think about a company, so people, on average, a study showed, so you've got the references at the end of the slides of the document I used to do that. So on average, people have 300 contacts on social media. So people of all ages. Obviously, younger people are going to have more contacts on social media, but then 300 contacts on social media per person. And then for a small medium company of 50 employees, that means already 15,000 people that the company can contact directly only through the direct network of employees. So you're not doing any effort. You just, if an employee is sharing what the company shared, if all your employees are sharing that, in this case, that would mean 40,000 people reached, which is a big number, right? And yeah, that means you can find prospect and potential clients within this 40,000 people. So this is why companies have started implementing social media best practices and ambassador programs. DM is to motivate your employees and make sure you get them involved in the social media communication, and not only the communication department of your company. You can benefit from those programs for sure. But however, each company that has ever tried to implement such an initiative has also encountered issues such as the quality of the content posted by employees. So we can, yeah, this can come from a misunderstanding of how we should use this or that media. It can also come from an employee misunderstanding of the image the company wants to achieve, or the misunderstanding of the company's communication guideline or best practices. Yeah, so that's why it's any company should make sure they allow employees to share and communicate, post things on social media to increase the visibility, but also make sure they give them clear best practices and the right tools to do it and the right content. Yeah, to control that, to have a bit of control. All right, so there's a very short case study that I found in one of the documents I read when I was investigating this topic. Is a company, energy company, LR Synergy. They've got some measurables, some indicators to show the benefit of their initiative. So in this case, the benefits are obvious, right? Very visible. It shows us that such an initiative can quickly have a positive impact. Like you see that 3 to 6 months after the initiative, the impact was huge on the company visibility, regarding its the website traffic, the bounce rate, and the overall image and visibility on the internet. So now I will focus on LinkedIn and on how you can create a good LinkedIn profile, optimizing your visibility and visibility of your company. First of all the information that will follow now might sound very obvious to you sometimes. It is very generic but useful. People don't have the same knowledge and understanding of social media, depending on their age, activity, studies, background, etc. Even if you are aware of all this, it is always useful to remind ourselves of the basic of LinkedIn and also check each point of the following slides to make sure our profiles are up to date and ready to improve, in our case, system seed visibility. So why using LinkedIn? So the purpose of LinkedIn, the main 3 reasons why people should use LinkedIn are: first one, present your personal identity, because your professional identity, because obviously your professional life is a big part of your life. So you should present what you do in professionally speaking. Secondly, LinkedIn is very useful to build and improve a relevant professional network. So that is useful for yourself, but also for your company. And then the third one is do business intelligence. You can do that by keeping an eye on your sector and share your expertise on LinkedIn. As it's a professional network, the information circulating is always more relevant to your professional activity compared to other networks such as Facebook, where you can lose time checking the feed or stuff like that. Next is the basics. So I chose to remind some basic of LinkedIn profile. So obviously, profile picture. You need to make sure you have a good profile picture, as it's the first thing people will see about you. That doesn't mean that it has to be strict or too serious, but only adapted to who you are and your activity and company image. Secondly, your motto, the catchphrase. I believe with your name, it's going to be the second thing that people are going to see on your profile and about you. Therefore, it needs to be catchy, brief, and descriptive, or at least clear. Then you have your resume. So it's the short paragraph and the main info under your name. So this can be a few sentences. It's enough. There you should make sure that you mention who you are by using words and phrases. So keywords and phrases that attract the reader, but also explain to him what your professional mission is. Then your professional experience. So here in that section, you should describe your career, including your current and past positions. When describing this experience, you should make sure that you use the right keyword. This is very important for you can do research with LinkedIn, and then you're going to appear more often in the research of people if you use the right keywords. When possible, you should show your success with project example. Project you did in the past or you're working on currently. You can show them the success. However, when doing this, if you can do this, you have to make sure you're always careful about confidential data that you shouldn't share publicly about the past or current project. Then your education and diploma. So that is obvious as well. You should mention your education clearly and make sure you've listed each diploma that you obtained. It's obvious and also important because although there are studies showing that 10% of your knowledge, only 10% of your knowledge comes from the formal education, formal training, but still that's the only, diploma is the only way to have a proof that you got involved in something and you passed, you managed to do it. Sorry. And then your competencies and expertise. So here you've got the feature called skills. It can be very useful to highlight your competencies and expertise in certain areas. So you can use skills and you can say, I'm good at this, at this, at this. And then the next level is getting people to validate those skills in order to make sure your profile gets stronger and more trustable. And it's linked with the following points, the references and recommendations. I believe that we should always ask our colleagues and friends to give us recommendations in order to build a more trustable profile again. Because a profile always looks better when it's supported by other people. You have more confidence. Then I chose to give you advanced piece of advice. So the first one is use a custom URL. So before investigating on that, I didn't know we could do this. So that was a good way to learn. So as shown on the slide, you can see that you can edit your profile URL by clicking on the top right corner on the page, edit public profile URL. Then you go on the pen there and you click on it. Then you can customize your URL. So this URL should include your name. Basically, that's what I did before. Before my name was followed by maybe 10 numbers, which doesn't always look good if you're putting that on your CV, for instance, or anywhere you want to show that to a client or something. It's your business card, for instance. Always look better. It looks like you know how to use social network. Secondly, add specific projects. So another good piece of advice here would be to add content or past projects. So it can be professional or personal. For instance, it can be volunteering activities or an event you went to, or it just helped the profile get even more, look even better. That's what I want to say. And then the third one, you can enhance your profile with medias. So with LinkedIn, there is a good feature. You can illustrate your experience and current activity by communicating through media such as video, photos, presentations, studies, etc. I saw on that picture, you can see these media can appear right there at the top, just underneath the beginning of your profile. And here, for instance, I've got, I'm not pretending my profile is the best, but I know that I have this media, and this is a CV. This is a product from our company, and this is a company overview. So it's always good to have this on your profile, just for more visibility. Now, additional tips to finish. So you can set your profile as public, which is a good way to reach even more people, have more views. You don't want to stay just in a direct network. You want to reach more people. So it can allow everyone to look at your profile, or at least look at the thing you put public. So you can go to the settings and set a post as public, or set a post as only my friends or my connection. So basically you can increase the number of people who can access this post or your whole profile. Then another very good point, especially in our team, because I think in our team we've got 5 or 6 different languages spoken by all our collaborators. So a good thing to do would be duplicate all our profiles in all the languages we speak. That can help us. So when the team is made of different nationality, it's good to duplicate your LinkedIn profile, because then you can reach a wider network that the company. So you can make yourself very useful, because the company without you and your language skills couldn't reach a specific country or specific market. Okay, and then the last one, link the company to your experience. This one sounds very obvious, but it's not always. I've seen on LinkedIn people not doing this, or not linking the company to the experience. So you should, or we should, make sure that we always link our company to our experience, or at least the one we're working for. So it increases the company's visibility, and when the people see our profile, they can see the company we're working for, and they probably click on the company name if they don't know it, just because they're curious. And then on the company, they can see the company profile, they can see more information, and maybe click on the link to go to the website, and that's more website traffic. Okay, so to conclude about this presentation, this talk, so social media, after this investigation, social media, I believe they can no longer be avoided by companies and employees. Depending on your activity, you should always aim for a few social media to use, but obviously the right one. Don't use the one that are not relevant to your activity. In our case, I really believe LinkedIn can be useful and relevant. Also, if you make sure your profile is well detailed and has the right keywords, then the useful information included, then you can be certain that your visibility and your company visibility will be improved dramatically compared to low quality profile. I know this is obvious, and I'm sure most of the people will know the information I just gave you, but when things are too obvious, people tend to forget the basics and the guidelines, right? So for instance, I can tell myself that when I was preparing for this talk, I noticed that there were a few things that I didn't do on my LinkedIn profile, and I could improve those things now. And then once your profile is up to date, it's easier to build and improve your professional network, for sure. So with a relevant and more trustable profile, it's easier to reach more people and look better. And now that we've got we have all the relevant basic information about social media and how to have a good and visible profile on LinkedIn, I believe that it could be interesting for a next talk to focus on how to improve our network and how to get in touch with people without being seen as a spam or irrelevant offer. So that's the end. Thank you for your attention, and if you've got any question, go for it.
So this is the right time to officially go and update your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, it's a really good intro, Alexi. Thanks. I think you're right in that even though it might come across as a basic intro, often the basic things are forgotten, and they're still important to get right. I think once you've done the basics, you can lead into more advanced stuff. I also really like one of your first slides about, was it called Ambassadors? And it really easily, this one, the figures there really easily depict the power of a social network. And if you're familiar with the idea of like Kevin Bacon, the 7 steps of Kevin Bacon, or the 6 steps of Kevin Bacon, it's basically that everyone in the world is connected through only 6 people. And what you want to do in social media, whether it's that you're like sharing a picture of your cat or you're advertising something for your business, you're going to use those few hundred people and then have a network effect where the 300 are connected to another 300, and then in only 2 or 3 steps, that's millions of people. So it's really interesting. And I've got a question as well as the comment. What would you say is the natural best media? You said like use the right platform for the right type of media. So Instagram for very visual things, Twitter for things that you're going to use as a hashtag and specifically want to be made public and therefore publicly accessible, easy to go viral. What would you say the best media is to use on LinkedIn?
I'm sorry, what did you say at the end? The best media? Anthony?
So if Instagram is best for images and YouTube's best for videos, hashtags are best used on Twitter, what's the best media for LinkedIn?
For LinkedIn, I don't know. I think, LinkedIn is less. Well, you should always, even if you're on LinkedIn, I think you should always use videos and images when possible, because it's been proven already that it always make a post more. It gives more views. So it can also be visual, but for instance, compared to Instagram is going to be a photo taken of a team somewhere or something, while on LinkedIn I would put like an infographic, something more serious and giving some data and or about a market or something, for instance.
So rich media, but stuff that is business related to business.
Yeah, I would say this. Yeah.
Or the most viewed content on LinkedIn is a content starting with only one person out of 1,000 can solve this math expression. And then the math expression, and then thousands of people trying to resolve this very simple and trivial math expression, and then writing thousands of comments, sharing it with their connections. It's kind of virus content across LinkedIn. That's where the ones I've seen gotten the most attraction. Not any kind of media.
I think this is also interesting that different people of different backgrounds, like social groups, prefer different social networks. For example, designers tend to use Instagram more, and networks like things built around Dribble and something like that. Programmers, as far as I know, web developers, for instance, they often prefer using Twitter, while people who work on business side of things and marketing and promotion tend to prefer LinkedIn. For example, I can go and update my profile on LinkedIn, but it still will not be like my true identity because it doesn't correlate with my day-to-day interest. I don't usually check it. It's not part of my real life. But instead, I would prefer using Twitter. But you say that LinkedIn would work much better. So maybe we can somehow be more flexible in this, in terms of which groups of people use which social networks.
Yeah, well, also there is a difference between having a profile well up to date and being very active on it. As long as it's up to date already, you've got more visibility and you've got all the information, so you appear easily in the research of people, in the search bar. If they put a keyword and you have it on your profile, you can appear faster. Well, yeah, so it's already better than not being up to date. So you don't have to be. It's better to be active on this network as well. But as long as your profile is up to date, it's already better than nothing.
When you say I will be more visible, for me it means that I will receive more spam. Like, hey, I'm representing some recruiting campaign, and we are interested to hire you, and I will receive more things like this. I don't think it will help our company somehow to have more this requests. Probably I need to have a script in this case, how to reply in this case and forward those people somewhere. So it's not clear to me what I will do with this visibility.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, you're not supposed to be in the business or marketing side, but if you get a lead if someone is contacting you because is interested by your services, then you can forward that to someone who can take care of that, I guess.
And it's a good point, and I like the fact that Kate raised, there is a lot of developers talking very openly on Twitter. Sometimes they're being very humble or funny, and things that aren't quite as contrived as some LinkedIn posts, and they get such great, it's not about going viral, but they have a big reach. And because they're very humble, because they're honest, because they're funny, and eventually they acquire a lot of followers. And then when it does come to saying, you know, I've got spare capacity over the next few months, or you retweet something that the company's done, or something that you're proud of, maybe you've written a case study or a blog post or something, it goes out to so many more people. And I think one of the tricks with social media is to be active on whatever platform you choose. So rather than just write a LinkedIn profile and leave it, if you're doing that because you're active in Twitter instead, that is also a good trade-off. So as long as people are active on their preferred network, and then Kate, your point about like being more present or having a better profile on LinkedIn, just attracting spam. Think of it the other way around. So we're the spam, right? Or not really spam, but the reach can come from what we want to promote. And therefore, if people are, people use search facilities in Twitter and social media, they use search facilities in LinkedIn. And if people are searching for Drupal or React or charities and things like this, the more visible we are when people are searching, the better. And often that is based on location or even demographics and things like that. If people want like a young team on a project, they can find all of those search and filter options in LinkedIn. So yeah, I think be active in whatever platform you choose, but have a decent profile in all of them.
It's, by the way, blocked in Russia, so you have to use VPN, and that's why it's not my favorite platform, because like it's not a quick job to just go and check what's going on in LinkedIn.
I didn't know that.
No, me neither.
Cool. Any other questions?
Okay, so I'll stop sharing, and thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Alex. It was very good.
Thank you.